Welcome back to another episode of the iAlpha project. Guys, today I want to introduce you to someone that I've met and I've seen around in the gym. The thing is, I've actually known this guy for quite a while. I've seen him and his wife or partner at the gym, and I've seen them train, I've seen them come in and out. And it wasn't until about 3 months ago or something that I saw this other dude come in and he had just this aura about him and there's this presence. And I'm like, man, I fucking know this dude. I know who this guy is. And I just couldn't put two and two together. And then I actually started, he was putting out reels and it was motivational. I admired the delivery because when he sometimes talks, he talks straight to you and he lets you know the truth. It's no backwards, and he's got his personality style, and you take it or leave it. But the one thing is that you always leave with a certain amount of content. When I saw his reels, I went into his Instagram and I scrolled back and I realized that's the same dude. This guy had done a complete change. The one thing that I have to say, when I first seen him in the gym, he always had this aura and this presence about him. So I want to introduce you to the owner and the founder of The Standard, Trai. Thank you for joining us, my man.
Nah, brother. Honestly, it was a blessing and an honor to sit in the same room as you. Well, on a podcast with you, bro. So
Bro,
I'm
like,
honored.
dude, I saw what the stuff you were putting out straight from the get-go, and I resonated with a lot of it. In all truth, I've been trying to put my message across, and the one
Hmm.
thing that you carry is this authenticity that I
Hmm.
quite admire. And some people can take it in their own little stride. They might say it's arrogance, cockiness, but for me, if you feel that way, then it's meant for you. And
Exactly
that
right,
message is exactly meant for you. So tell me a little bit about how you came about from creating the standard.
bro. Well, is this going to be the? Is this the whole my whole life story right now, or
Yeah,
just
bro.
how we ended up where we are now?
No, bro, I would like to know the life story. I'm one of those believers, man, that I think that everything happens with purpose.
Yep.
And little do we know, it's those first early steps in our life that actually kind of set the groundwork for what we are going to become.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Yeah, obviously, and yeah, I'll touch base on that comment. But bro, I obviously grew up. Okay, so didn't meet my dad till I was 6, 7 years old. Had a stepdad, very abusive, bashed my mum. I experienced it. It was very violent with me and my siblings. Um, Played semi-professional football played football and then went into high school and then 16, 17, 18 played semi-professional, getting paid. Went to
Okay.
school in Brisbane having football as a subject, so soccer, not rugby, football. So my school actually had soccer as a subject. So I went to school,
Nice.
all us boys that went to school together would all verse each other on weekends in clubs, but then come together during the week and play together as a team.
Yeah.
High school for me, bro, was great. I fucking loved high school. Academically, I was dog shit, absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
Just
But
just managed to graduate in grade 12. I had to get a C on my grade 12 math exam, and I managed to cheat my way to a C.
you managed to work your way around to a C, bro. That's how we deliver the message.
Transparency for me, bro, always. And then, bro, finished school, still playing football, and I actually started my plumbing apprenticeship just before I turned 18. It was a couple of months before I turned 18. And by that time, bro, I was, you know, drinking a little bit with a few boys. And then as soon as I turned 18 and I went clubbing, the boys that I was sort of hanging around with, they weren't bad boys, but, they loved to drink. They didn't mind getting rowdy. And on my first night clubbing, bro, they're like, oh, bro, here, try this. And, gave me a pinger. And pretty
Oh,
much from that day, bro, it was from that weekend. The next day, I walked into my football coach and I said, brother, I'm done.
just from one experience.
Yeah, just yeah. And to add on to that, like my plumbing boss at the time, we were working 7 days a week as apprentices. Like, and he
Okay.
didn't give us any flexibility. It was like you have to be here. If you leave, like you get
You're
sacked.
done.
And he was always like, you need to pick between plumbing and football. What do you want to do? Like, you can't be dabbling in both because one, I need you, and it's a requirement of what I need from you. So, I need you to make this decision. So, because I was trying to balance it the first few months, sorry, with like, because I'd play 2 games in a weekend. So I'd played resis and then I'd go and play first league. So I'd need to
Jeez.
leave work on a Saturday at like 2 o'clock to make the first game. And man, it was just a headache trying to convince him to let me leave. So
Yeah.
eventually I just said, you know what? I'm not going to go professional. I've got no desire to go professional. By the time I was 18, I was sort of half losing the love for it anyway. not being surrounded by all the boys and the community and the environment around football that I had in school.
Mm.
So, it was a no-brainer for me to sort of just give it away. Found partying now and working as well. So it was, yeah, realistically a no-brainer. And those same boys, few of them ended up being like, going down the wrong path, and it's pretty much, man, I just followed them.
Yep.
I yeah, started, selling a bit of pingers here and there out clubbing and, making a bit of money, and then it's crazy. I spoke about this on this podcast with Neil Cummins the other day. Man, the one guy that I really looked up to as an 18-year-old that like really distilled in me like, yeah, I want to live this life and be like him, is the first person that I seen in jail.
Wow.
Like the first person
Oh,
that
wow.
called my name when I walked through the doors.
Wow.
And I didn't even know, but I hadn't seen this guy in 10 years. And
Wow.
I was like, who's that? Because he was locked away in his cell. And I was like, who's that? He's like, oh, it's such and such. And I was like, you're kidding me.
Wow.
Like, I'd go to this bloke's house as a 17, 18-year-old, juiced up, tattoos everywhere, big gold chains,
Yeah.
Rolexes, money counter over there, bags of drugs over there, girls everywhere. Like, just the lifestyle that
Fuck.
as a 17, 18-year-old, you're just like, yeah,
It's what you
this
see in
is,
music videos, yeah?
yeah,
And like you're actually in
exactly.
it now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100.
And
Yeah.
like, my two good mates actually moved in with this bloke. So I started spending a lot of time at this bloke's house. And yeah, it was just sort of inevitable, unfortunately, that I just sort of said, everyone around me's doing it. It's there. I've got contacts, I've got mates. Why not just give it a go? It's money to be made. So off I
Well,
went.
man, you don't realize situations like that. You create a community.
Yeah, well, that's the
And
thing.
then within the community, you kind of support each other. You go along the same way and you become part of that and you contribute to it. It's very easy to get taken away along for the ride, especially when you're at that age and you haven't got your foundation.
Yeah. And then it just I ended up getting engaged when I was like 21, 22. Um, and without speaking ill on her, it was very toxic. Like I couldn't even hug my female siblings or my mum in front of this lady without her
Wow.
messaging me saying, "You're a cunt," as if you do that in front of me. If I ever gave my mum or my siblings money, she'd be like, "Whatever you just gave them, you have to give me too."
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's, how did you cope with that?
well, I tried to leave so many times. I really did, but she kept playing the, oh, if you leave, I'm going to commit suicide. And in the end, I just ended up saying, like, do it. Like, because I can't do this anymore. Like, you're not going to do it because you told me you're going to do it 20 times. So, like, just do it. And she did end up doing it. And then in the end, I ended up cheating on her. And she found out on the day.
Mm,
And yeah, just we were living in one of her parents' rentals, and her parents just come around and said, "Look, it is what it is. You just need to get your stuff and get out." And but I had nowhere to go. I didn't want to go to my mum's house out of shame.
yep.
And two, by that time, like my drug addiction was very heavy. So like I
Okay.
didn't want to go back to my mum's house being addicted to cocaine,
Yep.
as well as I was heavily in the mix of making money through it as well. So I was like, I
Yes.
can't take that to my mum's house.
Yep.
And I had a dog, so I was just like, I ended up just ringing a guy that I did a fair bit of business with that I knew lived in his family home was huge, like multi millionaires, and I just said, bro, look, it's very strange. I'm sorry, but like, can I just crash at yours for a few days until I figure out what I'm going to do with my life? And he's like, yeah, bro, of course, bring the dog. The family love it. They had like 8 dogs, horses. Like the family was just it's like a farm.
Wow.
The family ended up just saying, look, just live here. It's fine. There's massive spare bed, pay us a little bit of rent, help out. And I said, yeah, sweet, that's fine. I'll do that. But me and this bloke, like, it was just the worst recipe because, like, we would just get cooked every day. Every day. We'd both come home from work. One of us would stop in at the bottle shop, get a carton of cruisers, and we'd just get absolutely sizzled all night until all hours of the morning. And then either try and call in sick, but he was working for his old boy who lived in the house, and I was working for one of my good mates who, if I tried to call in sick, he'd be like, "Bro, please, I need you. Like, I know what you're
Yeah.
doing. I know you're cooked. Just, I need you to
Yeah.
come in." And I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, all right, leave it with me. I'll try and get an hour's sleep and come in."
Yeah.
And then I ended up
Well,
moving into my old boy's house to try and get away from it. Nothing happened with my mate or nothing. I just said, "Look, bro, this is just toxic. I need to get
it's
out. Like, no,
yeah.
no disrespect to you, your family. I'm very appreciative, but we can't keep doing this, bro. Like, this is just crazy." Um, and that was at the midst of the peak of COVID, like when COVID sort of hit back in
Wow.
2019. So,
Shit.
we were both sort of not working, had nothing else to do. So what do we do? Just, oh, fuck it, we'll just go to the bottle shop, get some cruisers and
Go for
just
the
party.
distraction. Yeah.
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 And I was dating his sister as well at the time. And just, yeah, I was not a good person to her because I was cooked all the time and just, it was just a recipe for disaster. So I ended up moving into my old boys. And unfortunately, my old boy was having just as much fun as I was.
Yeah.
So that didn't last long there either because I'd come home and he'd be like, "Oh, you got any?" And I'd be like, "Ah, oh, fuck, yeah, all right,
So
let's have a few." And then we'll end up pissed as. Then my stepmom's getting angry at us, and so I actually moved out on my own, which is where my life took a big downhill turn because
mm,
same deal like I said before, COVID, can't leave in my own
yep.
apartment, close to the city. So I was just like, sweet, I just have different strippers or waitresses over every day and just get cooked every day.
Shit. So
I
the
was,
more you try to escape it, the more you went deeper into it indirectly.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, just because I was training every day, I was still working. I just never seen a real big problem with it. Like I never thought I was actually addicted
No,
because
yeah.
my family didn't know, so there was no real hiccups with my family. All my mates around me my mates were, they were happy because I was giving them all rack. I was the party man. I was the fun time. So wasn't having any issues with mates, and I was surrounded by, hundreds of women every month. So for me, it was just like this is great, and I was still training and going to work. So I
Mate,
just
so
never,
if we like touch on that, like because I've noticed that and my life story is it's different, but one commonality that we have is it seems a shared experience to escape.
yeah,
Because when you look at what you were talking about and even the partners that we attract, I would argue that a lot of my partners in their past were toxic. But if I'm brutally honest, I think I attracted that toxicity because I knew how to function under it. I
yeah,
was brought up under it, and so anything that kind of resembled that, I was comfortable in. I knew how to
mm,
manage. But
yeah,
indirectly, I communicated with the same narcissism that I was taught with.
yeah,
So
yeah, spot
indirectly, I
on.
became the narcissist too. So I just perpetuated the same thing. But what I found was I would either go into my martial arts or into my sports or into my work or into my mates as a distraction. Because if I found that if I was sitting alone with myself, I had work, I had mates, I had training, but I had fuck all purpose.
Mm,
I didn't really feel like what am I meant to be doing with my life? What can I offer? And I was too busy trying to feel good about life. So anything that made me feel good got my attention,
mm.
but it was short lived.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I talk quite heavily on that. Like, I legit could not be by myself for longer than 20 minutes, like
But
without
now,
being like,
now you
oh,
spend every morning doing your meditations, your journaling, all on your.
but like as much as I hate being away from my daughter, but like when my wife and my daughter say they go away for a girls' night with all her mum's group, I just cannot wait to sit on my couch by myself and just do absolutely nothing
Yeah,
and just have no responsibilities, no
it's a
little,
massive
no
shift.
no no daughter. Just as much as I love my daughter, she's my whole world. But like she's not sitting there wanting to play with me, climb all over me, sit on me, feed her, do this, do that. Like I have no more. Nothing brings me more joy than legit just sitting on my couch and doing absolutely nothing.
That's when you reconnect, yeah, reground, restructure, just reframe, get in touch with what it is to bring out the best in you. Quality time with yourself, I think, is one thing that I don't know, man. I grew up, and my mom was very demanding, and my father, we will touch on later, but I respect my dad as a person and as a father, and he worked his butt off to provide for us. But he was a weak man in the sense that it was all catered for my mom. He was always walking on eggshells. I went to his business, and people would hear his voice and they would tremble because he was the boss. But when he came home, he was the bitch.
Yeah.
And by that, meaning like there was everything was around my mom's emotions and my mom's moods. So indirectly, he taught us how to behave. His mindset was a happy wife, happy life. Don't make waves. Easy, just let them be. But the reality is, it eats you up inside and it
100%.
continues going. And you don't feel like you have anyone who's got your back because you're
Mm.
getting abused. I mean, the other person is allowing you to be abused because he doesn't want to create more tension.
Yeah.
And you see this in a lot of homes. But then
It's
when we
it's
grew
it's
up,
it's 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 very very toxic, and like I see it like even now to this day, like it's so common,
it is,
so
and
so, and
there's a
and
book.
people just either accept it or just think like that common phrase, "happy wife, happy life." It's
Yep.
just like no, that's you don't have to live like this, bro.
No, and but we then like bro, you've always had this energy of you have an alpha energy. You have an aura about you that you carry. And I'm sure you've heard that your whole life. You just stand up. So beside that fact, I would also look and say like men like that at the same time, we struggle a lot more to find our purpose because we're actually held down. I mean, someone looks at you straight away and they go, "Oh yeah, fuck, he's a scary dude. Like he's an aggressive guy." And if you say one word with a little bit of an assertive tone, "Oh, that was scary," oh, and now all
Yeah,
of a sudden you become the
toxic
toxic
masculinity.
masculinity bullshit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, and one of my mates gave me that book, and I've never been a big fan of like the mentality that people say, treat him mean to keep him kin type of thing. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm not really into that. But the more I read the book, the more I realized what he was saying is that a nice guy isn't necessarily a good guy. A good man sometimes has to not be a nice guy. So
100%.
we have to know where our boundaries are, maintain them regardless of what our wives or partners think of us. We have to maintain that integrity about ourselves, that our word and our purpose stands above all else and accountability. But we don't do that. We're too busy trying to cater for everybody else. But then we don't fulfill ourselves and we distract that with training, drugs, partying, everything else that we can think.
Every toxic vice that there is known to mankind.
But the question remains, bro. Like it's like you kind of kept running from one place to the next. But it seems like the only time you hit rock bottom was exactly when you were meant to be with you and by yourself.
Mm.
And
And I was just
with respect
doing everything I could to not.
to not be there.
Yeah.
And I've got there, mate, and I've been very lucky to be one of the lucky ones that actually picked up the phone and rang Lifeline. And we both know a lot of people that haven't been that lucky.
Mm.
And a lot of times it comes to the point that we get there to that point where we by ourselves, but we don't know ourselves or trust ourselves or love ourselves enough to know that we can get out of it. So
There's
a
also
tough
that
question.
that that egotistical male inside of us as well that truly believes that there's that stigma with men. We shouldn't have to ask for help, or which it's I look now and I'm just like it's just so toxic, and it's passed down through like generations of kids now because our parents, that's how our parents were and that's how their parents were, and
That's
like
right.
realistically it's no one's fault, it's just been passed down and
Yeah.
considered what's normal.
And I'm no alpha one at the time. I literally was convinced that if I was a strong man, an alpha male, I would kill myself because that's the right thing to do. It would save my kids stress. It would save a lot of people issues. In my mind, that's what I thought a real man would do at that point in time. And it's the complete opposite.
Yeah,
So how did you like what was it that triggered you to say, you know what, fuck this, enough of this shit, I'm taking control?
bro, it's my missus.
Really?
I just met her and we got together, and legit within 3 weeks, man, I just completely turned my life around.
Mate, I fucking believe that. Hey, I'm one of those guys that I say to everyone, a guy on his own can become formidable. He can kick ass when he's focused and he doesn't have the distraction of a relationship. He can hit top. He can just really get to the top. But if he's got the right partner next to him, he will supersede any of his expectations. She will make him more of a man than he
The
will ever
craziest
imagine.
thing is like she never even once said to me, "Oi, babe, like you're a bit," because I was still heavily using every day during the week and disappearing from Thursday to Monday every weekend the first few weeks, and she never once said like, "Oi, fucking, can you just ease up a bit? Like, you're a bit much. Like, never once. We just started training together at Malcolm Worlds, where you would have seen us.
Yeah, yeah.
I just sort of, because she's obviously, you've seen her. She's, for a natural girl, like, she's big, very
But
muscular for a natural
great
girl.
shape as well. Good
Yeah.
structure. Yeah,
And I just said to myself, training with her, and I was like, man, I can't fucking look like this as a man coming to the gym with my partner who looks like that. And that's when I just sort of said, nah, and I just said, that's it. And I reached out to my first coach, that Darcy Fit,
yeah,
Darcy Cogdale, and
yeah, yeah.
just said, bro, because obviously me and him used to bend it together.
Okay.
That's how I knew Darcy, because I was actually with Carlos at first, but
Yes.
I hated Google Sheets.
Yeah, yeah,
I just, after like 2 weeks with Carlos, I just said, no disrespect, but I'm fucking not doing this.
yeah.
Like, I hate this shit, bro. And then, yeah, messaged Darcy and started my journey with him.
Yeah, mate. Like, I'm not the coach for everybody. Everyone has their own system and their own style of doing it. And I believe when you find what works for you, you're going to want to do more of it.
Yeah, well, that's it. And that's the whole relatability as well, which I feel is why I myself has done quite well in a very short period of time, being able to grow the business like it has. I've managed to do what a lot of coaches can't do in 5 years, in six,
Yeah,
7 months.
yeah, yeah. You've
Um,
skyrocketed. I mean, again, I put that down to your energy, but I'd say it's your experience and what you bring to people. There's no bullshit about you. It's like, it's legit. This is it. This is what's on the table. Take it or leave it.
yeah, and it's just like, I've been fat, I've been severely overweight, I've been depressed, I've been a drug addict, and let's be honest, out of what men in the world hasn't been one of those things?
100%.
So it's that, people can relate. People don't just want some jacked up odd coach online that's got a six pack saying, "Oh, come do my 12 week bicep blast ebook and fucking on your bike." Like, it's just for me personally, I wanted a coach that I could become close with. Like, me and my current coach, we're best mates, mate. He was one of the only men that I had at my wedding outside of my close group.
Yeah, mate,
Um,
I'm the same. With Logan. Logan's been working with me for years, and often I go see him once a week, without fail, face to face. And more often than not, we talk business, we talk family, we talk kids, we talk men. Sometimes we have more training sessions working our jaws than our bodies. But man, like at the end of the day, it's that he's not just my coach, but he's my I would argue like my co-pilot.
yeah,
I know what I'm doing,
yeah,
but he's the resounding board. He's the one who's giving me advice, checking my work. But it's someone that has the same mindset as me, the same likability. He's not just trying to make a buck.
yeah,
And I think that's really important to create that sort of relationship. But at the same time, I'd argue that a lot of men, like we are those things, but we don't want to admit it. And the majority of men want to become better. But what is it that causes us to pull that fucking trigger? Because I'm sure you deal with a lot of guys that are like, Trai, bro, I'm keen to get started. But then you get all the excuses. Oh, I can't do it because of this. I can't do that because of this. And so
yeah.
what
I've
would you
found
say?
it's been very difficult for me, bro, because like myself, when I started with Darcy, it was all guns blazing, 100%. My whole life reverted around Darcy and what we were doing. Like, just I lost 20 kilos in 9 months with him straight off the bat.
Jeez.
Um, and don't get me wrong, that first year with him, like, it was my first year of attempted sobriety. And I had 6 nights out on the piss within that first year. And it was Christmas 2022 that I just said, nah, that's it, enough's enough. But we'll get on that. But for me, brother, it's been very difficult to understand and adapt to everyone else's work ethic,
Yep.
because I'm just like, why can't you just do what I did? Why can't
Yep.
why the fuck can't you do it? What is stopping you? Like, what is so hard, and what doesn't get through your head about, like, your work ethic is going to be the outcome of your progress?
I think personally, a lot of it has stems from the basics of accountability. Nothing is
Mm,
ever our fault. And I also, and I'm not sure how people are going to take this, but when I was sick and I had my tube put in, I was only 20. I was going to be 25 at the time, and I was really struggling with the dynamic. I had worked my butt off to get to where I was, and then this happened. And I was one of those straight down the line, narrow type of kids, but no matter what I did, shit always happened. Then this came about and I lost my way. But the one thing I always said is, despite my disability, I want to be accepted in society. I want to be part of society. I don't want to be different. I want to be contributing. So I
Yeah.
never ever used my tube as like, oh, look at me, poor me, look how tough I have it. In fact, I used to hide it quite a bit.
Mm.
And I would, admittedly, through shame. And I just wanted to be seen as normal. But it brings us to the fact that if in order for you to be a part of society, you have to fucking contribute. You have to be part. If an animal's born deformed or has a handicap, they don't survive long in the wild. And it's not because they're headed on; it's because it's for the benefit of the pride of the animal kingdom. Like you, if you can't support, you're going to become a liability. So you're better off dead.
Yeah.
In humanity, we've kind of reverted to like if you have a disability, you get overcompensated for, and everybody else has to carry your workload. But if everybody's doing that, then civilization as a whole slows down. And I hate to say it, but I work with predominantly a lot of disabled clients, and everyone that works with me has to accept this. Just because you're disabled does not void you of the responsibility you have for your community.
Mm.
So you come to the gym with me, I will help you around the machines, I'll help you get things, but your job is to learn to do it yourself, regardless of your disability. You do it to the best that you can within your limitations.
Yeah.
But once you do that, you actually become the inspiration for everybody else that they too have to contribute. So,
Mm.
as much as we have to contribute to society, what can we contribute if we not don't have any personal skills to contribute it to? If we're not fit or healthy or strong or positive or have a good mindset, what the fuck are we contributing?
It literally.
When I look at now, there's generations like I bump heads all the time, but it comes back to the one thing as a parent, like I really don't give a fuck what you think of me when it comes to bringing up my kids
Mm.
because my kids are my responsibility. And if I fuck up, it's going to be on me, not because I did something that somebody else suggested,
Yeah.
because that's still on me. So I
Yeah.
might as well do it my way and make the mistakes or get the rewards. But the one thing I'm adamant on is correctness. You have to correct the child while they're growing up. But a lot of
Yeah.
times we get told the opposite. Oh, shame, they don't understand, but they're just learning. I said, no, absolutely. They're just learning. It's not to be punished. But we do need to have this stern dynamic with them because we have to prepare them for the world. And one of those things is taking accountability and learning how to handle negativity.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are constantly bringing kids up in this mind frame of like the world is catering to you, they're not developing any skills where they can contribute to the world.
But don't get me wrong. Like my daughter's my world. But yes, I'm very, very, very stern.
But you have to
Like
be,
if she fucks up, she hears about it.
And here's my argument: like, how is that a bad thing?
Yeah. It's this is what's wrong with society, bro. This is why the society is going so backwards. Is because that whole rule of you can't discipline your kids. Kids don't understand what it means that if you fuck up, there's consequences.
It's not emotional;
It's
it's
nah,
a consequence.
and so now it's just like, oh, well, I can do whatever the fuck I want and get away with it.
It was a result of your actions.
Mm.
I never like, and don't get me wrong. Like, there's ways around it, and there's this flexibility. And I also think that the older I get, the more I learn about communication, the child development, and where their brain waves are. So kids between 0 and 6 are probably constantly taking in information, but they don't have enough of a conscious where they can differentiate. So if you tell a kid who's like 4 and they've been at the shops and they want a toy, but they've been misbehaving, and you say, no, you don't deserve that because you haven't been behaving, so you're not getting a toy. They just at that time register, well, fuck, I'm undeserving. When they
Yeah.
get to about 9 or 10, they can understand. So at that age, you can turn around and say, look, you weren't really good. You weren't me behaving. So what makes you think you've earned the right for a toy? That's it. So you're not getting one. Let's move on. Oh, I want one in there. Crack the shits. There's no engagement. You're not responsible for emotions. So you don't have to like scold the child. My daughter once she dropped the towel on the floor and my ex-wife was saying, pick the towel up, pick the towel up, pick the towel up. And she just wouldn't budge. And all I said was, Layla, pick your towel up. Straight away she picked it up. And she goes, oh, why did she listen to you and not me? And my sister-in-law goes, because she's afraid of him. And I was like, no, she's not at all. Does she look scared? She's not. She's afraid of the consequences of her actions,
Mm.
not of me. I'm not the consequence to the action. She has a consequence.
Hmm.
And the irony is, whenever she was stressed, emotional, needed to feel safe, wanted someone to play with, guess who she would come to?
Dad.
Dad.
Yeah,
So
bro.
the irony is
I'm the
like,
exact same, and my wife hates it.
like,
Hates it because of how close she and my daughter are. Like my daughter will come into our room every morning. Mummy, can you get out? Can you get out so I can cuddle with Dad? Like everything is Dad. Everything is Dad. Like she'll be bawling her eyes out. And my wife will have to ring me. I'll be at the gym. Babe, I need you to come home. I'm like, why? She goes, she just won't stop crying. I get home and I just come and I just hold her. And I'm like,
and she
Bubba,
calms right down.
straight away. And my wife's
And
like, I don't know what it is. She just won't settle down and won't listen to me. Every time my wife has her on her own, she just loses it.
like that's we touch on it slightly something different, but there's a lot of research that actually just goes to show the energy that we're often in affects the child. And mums,
Yeah,
man, like that job, like credit to them, like especially stay home mums and they're working around. Like even with my own dog, I wish I had more patience sometimes. So I can understand how tough it must be where you just get to a point where you lose yourself. And being a mum, the first few months, it all becomes about being a mother. So you lose that connection with yourself. And I think sometimes a child can pick up on that. So as much as the mother wants to soothe the baby, the mother herself isn't soothed.
yeah, yeah,
And the baby picks up on that, and the dad has the energy where he's self-soothed already, so the baby connects easier.
yeah,
And then even that, I get because I get jealous too. So I get the partner being jealous that the daughter wants the mom, but at the same time, it's the perspective change of like, how lucky are we that I have this,
yeah.
that I have this man that can come in and completely relax our baby, and how lucky that I am that just the same way that and I would argue that the reason you that relaxed is because you got those two beautiful ladies to come home to.
100%, bro. 100%.
It just like feeds on itself, right? So sometimes our brain takes us to that negativity, emotion of ego of like, I'm jealous, I've been all day, and now she's reacting to the dad, and vice versa. Like, my daughter, she's at the age now where she prefers to spend more time with her mom. Why not? They have more things in common. They're a lot more better friends. But one of those reasons is also because she gets away with more at her mother's than she does at mine. And that's going to be her learning journey. So I guess as a dad, I have to also differentiate. It's not about love. It's just about my daughter being a 17-year-old daughter.
Yeah,
She's just being 17. And I've
yeah.
just got to learn to blend with that as much as possible, you know? But I think like you touched, also one of your reels, which I completely agree with, is setting the example for your daughter of what a man should be.
Mm,
And there's one thing that my daughter taught me was that I don't care how crazy she can get. I would love for her to find a man who's able to control himself and his emotions and correct her in a compassionate manner. But how can I get her to find a man like that if I can't do that?
yeah, exactly right.
If I can't control my emotions and if I can't navigate that, how can I set the example for her? And because of her, I would argue is what drove me to become more of who I am today.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I
Do you
always told,
know?
as soon as I found out I was having a girl, I just said to myself, like, because I knew my stepdad was away 90% of the time of my childhood. So my siblings are now, they're 18 and 16, so they're much younger than me. And so for me and my mum, it was pretty much like I was raising my siblings.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
but like my stepdad was this man that we're talking about, like very violent, very aggressive, would lose it. Like I would come home every day, and if I said hello to him and I got
yeah.
as man, I just like there was one time we went for a walk and she just cried because she was like, I'm just so glad that you were able to differentiate and realize that what you see your whole childhood was wrong and you didn't
Yeah.
take in any of those habits into your current life.
Man, that's a rarity actually, because a lot of people that lose themselves in their emotions often react with what they've seen in their
Exactly right.
past.
Like it's like anything. Like you said earlier, like kids are their parents.
Yep.
So
That's
like
one of the things that I come to term with every day is the fact that sometimes when I'm in my negative emotions, I'm like, fuck, I remind myself of my mother or my father. And I'm like, where did I get that? Because
yeah,
again, as a child, you're just learning to cope. with your surroundings.
Yeah.
So you learn to navigate and behave in ways that are familiar to you.
What you consider normal.
Yeah, and what I consider might be a negative emotion like frustration or anger, then I express that the same way that I was taught how to express it. And then that's a very hard cycle to, I mean, mate, I think it brings it right back to people say, I want results for training. So I'm going to follow the diet. They read the book, they know the plan, they have your consult, they know what cardio they need to do, but they don't fucking do it.
Mm.
They don't do it.
I Yeah, I've sort of changed up the way that I've coached the last probably 3 4 weeks, because I was finding that I was trying to really just be compassionate with people
Mm,
and just being real understanding. Like, oh yeah, okay, 3 4 weeks in, you still haven't gotten into the swing of things, and like 3 weeks ago, I was real bad mentally previous to this week, and then something just flicked in me. And I just said, you know what? I've fucking had enough of all these people. Like they actually drain my energy more than they do good. Like I don't want them. So that's it. They're all going to cop it today. So like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday check-ins, anyone that was just fucking useless, I just said, you know what? That's it. Enough's enough. Your excuses are a fucking joke. I'm like, you come to me for a fucking job, for you're paying me to achieve something.
yep,
But to be able to achieve something, I need your work ethic reciprocated. Like
absolutely.
I'm giving you my time, the plans, energy. I'm checking in on you, and you're giving me nothing back.
Yep,
So I'm giving you till Christmas to prove to me that you have it in you to actually make progress and want to make a change within your life, or I'm cutting you off and you'll never hear from me again.
how do
What
they respond to
happens?
that?
3 4 weeks in, oh, all of a sudden they're 5 6 kilos down.
Yep,
And like there was one guy. He's been with me for actually he's 27 weeks, and every few weeks, oh brother, I fell off the bandwagon. So sorry, I ate off plan. Now I can't get back into the swing of things. But like he was 140 kilos and just didn't
jeez.
lose weight. And I'm like, bro, there's absolutely no reason why you're not losing weight. Like you're just straight out lying to me, bro.
Yep,
Like not
yep,
a single kilo in like 20 something weeks. I said, brother, come on.
yep,
Like, and they went through the
yep.
phase where he lost 6 kilos, and I was like, see what happens, bro, when you just actually do the work. This
Just do the
this
work.
works, yeah. And then he fell off the bandwagon again, and like 3 weeks ago, it was in that same week. I got this big message about, oh, bro, I'm really sorry. Can we just forget about the whole 20 something weeks we just had? Let's start fresh today. And I sent him this big loom, and I just grilled him because he's got a 2 year old daughter, and he's only 22 years old, and he's 140
Wow,
kilos. And I said,
wow.
but and like the whole reason why he come to me was like, same deal as what I always preach about. Like he just wanted to be the man, the role model that his daughter looked up to. He didn't want to, like he felt ashamed. He just, he wasn't happy.
Yep.
And I was like, bro, you are going to die in the next 10 to 15 years if you do not make a change. Like you are
Eh,
22 years old, brother, at 140 kilos. Where do you think you go from here?
Mate, that's what they don't understand. Not only are they losing their lives, but they're actually becoming a burden to the family that they want to provide for.
Mm. And that's what I
They
said.
want
I
to
said,
help us
man,
with
like
them.
I said, bro, you're fucking embarrassing.
Mate, 100%. And like people get triggered by that, but that's the reality. And you
Mm.
can bullshit as much as you want, but he came to you because he was feeling embarrassed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have come. So own it, like fucking own it, and feel it. Take that feeling. And my daughter once said to me because she misbehaved when she was at her mum's, and my son, like he's always got her back, so he updated me, and I had a go at her in a nice way, just discussing her behavior. And she said, "Well, we've already discussed it, and I've apologized. So I don't want to keep talking about it. That it's all done." I was like, "No, no, no, it's not done. Like, this is a discussion because you need to understand your actions. Not only are they inconsiderate to everybody else, but you put yourself in a dangerous situation." She goes, "Yeah, but I don't like talking about it because I feel so bad, and I don't want to feel bad." And I said to her, "You know what? That's the best feeling you can ever have because feeling bad about it tells you that you're a good person.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't feel bad about it, you wouldn't be a good person."
Mm.
And that feeling bad and taking that ownership is the feeling you get next time you're going to make the same mistake. And
Yeah.
that's going to stop you from repeating it. So fucking own that shit,
Mm.
absorb it. So the next time you feel like you're going to misbehave in that way, you'll remember this bad feeling and maybe something will change. And that's what I mean by people they got the diet, the training plan, but they don't do it. You can see People can read your reels, watch your podcasts, take all this positive information, but unless they apply it in those moments of when they need to, when they're negatively stressed or unmotivated, those are the moments that they have to put what you say into practice.
Mm.
And they just
And
don't
like
do it.
now, it's been like 4 weeks since, because I said to him, I said, you know what, bro, I'm giving you the same method that I had with my first coach, 50 minutes on the stepper every single day. And I said, and you're to send me a fucking photo of the stepper screen every single day, bro. I said, if you miss one day, I'm cutting you off. That's it. I've had enough. What's happened? In 4 weeks, bro, this cunt's lost 8 kilos.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
said, bro, I said, you were literally just, you were clearly lying to me the last 20 something weeks, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And I think this is the sad part, like you've created discipline in him. He's done it for you, but this realization that he needs to do it for himself.
yeah, that's the hard thing, bro. And that's
That's
what
the hard thing.
that's yeah. See, like even myself, like when I left Darcy, well, I didn't leave Darcy. I went from one coach to another. But like, bro, like everyone goes through phases where like I always say, like you can't rely on motivation. It's
No.
pretty cliche, but you cannot rely on motivation
No.
because motivation will die very very quickly. Even myself, even for you, I'm sure. Both,
Oh, bro.
our gym is our whole life, but there are days, bro, where we can't be fucked going to the gym.
Bro, it just feels like more work.
Yeah,
It's like
there's a lot
something
of
I
days
wish I
where I
never
just
seen.
like to turn this computer off and lay right there on my couch with my cat and just do absolutely nothing while my daughter and my wife are out of the house.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I have a job to do. I have a goal, and there's nothing that's going to come between me and that goal, unfortunately.
And you set the standard.
Yeah, exactly right.
You set the standard and you made that commitment to yourself. And if you can't honor that to yourself, how the fuck can you honor it to your partner or child or
Exactly
anybody
right.
else?
Yeah.
And you've created that discipline. And I find that's the hardest part to get people to do something. It's like, why do I need to bark at you to do something that you came to me for?
That's what I'm finding with a lot of Gen Pop. Like I was having that conversation before, like why can't they all just be like me where they dedicate their whole life to it and all guns blazing,
Yeah,
happy days? It's just like for me what I'm finding with Gen Pop is the first 6 to 8 weeks is always a bit up in the air, a bit slow, not really going forwards, but not really going backwards. Like, or they'll go forwards, then they'll go backwards. And it's not till like I'd say they get to that 6 to 8 week mark and they probably should have lost 10 plus kilos, but they're only sitting around 5, and they're like, oh, these pants fit a bit better.
yeah,
Maybe this actually works.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden it's all guns blazing and they dedicate everything to it. And then within
Very
three,
true.
4 weeks, they're another 5 to 10 kilos down.
Very true.
I had to just completely change my onboarding system now to just be like, look, I don't want a single slip up in the first 6 to 8 weeks because how you determine the rest of your journey is dictated by this first 6 to 8 weeks. If you can commit 100%, and I'm not saying that I'm going to grill you, I'm not saying I'm going to flog you for having a slip up in the first 6 to 8 weeks. That's fine, but own it, tell me about it, and we move forward. Don't fucking hide it from me. But
Absolutely.
if you commit to the first 6 to 8 weeks as best as fucking possible, I'm telling you right now, one, you become addicted to it, and two, it sets the tone for the rest of your fucking journey.
Absolutely. Because you're not just chasing the results, you're chasing the effort.
Mm.
It's like
And
put
that's
the
what I
effort
tell
in.
I tell everyone at the start now. I'm like, look, if you don't make progress within the first 12 weeks, it's not because of me. I'm telling you right now. Unless we get bloods done and we realize that you have issues that you can't lose weight, happy days. But if you come to me and you don't lose weight or put on size in the first 12 weeks, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, I attended a seminar, and the one guy said something really interesting. He turned around and goes, um, "What's your problem?" And the guy was like, "Oh, I'm addicted to drugs." And he goes, "No, no, no. That's how you deal with your problem. What's your problem?" And the same thing applies to weight. You want to do weight loss, weight's not your problem. What's your problem? Causes you to avoid exercise? What causes you to eat shit? What is the self-destructive mentality that you have that allows you to perpetuate this behavior? So I find that people can change and they do make the effort, especially when they've got a controlled environment, they lose the weight, But if, like, I had a guy who won the national 12-week challenge for Good Life, and he lost
Yep.
over 30 kilos in 12 weeks. And I built
Fuck.
a good foundation with him, like literally.
Jesus
I mean, look,
Christ.
it's super easy when you weigh 180, right, bro?
Yeah, yeah,
That's how he
yeah.
started.
Yeah.
So it gets further, it gets better. This dude's family was supporting him during this process, rightly so, because he really needed to lose this weight. So he was getting everything paid for. All these meals were being cooked by his mom. He would come to the gym twice a day and train and do cardio, and he did that for 3 months. And he ended up winning the national challenge. In that challenge, there were other dads there that were already fit at 25% body fat, 20% body fat. They did the 12-week challenge, ran their business, looked after their kids, blended their own meals, and still lost weight and dropped their fat percentage, but they didn't even get a second look.
Yeah.
This guy felt so good about himself because he had this whole new body. He went right back to just thinking, oh, this is who I am, rather than this is now the new me. And he reverted back. He went all the way down to 250, I think, was his worst. Nearly lost his life. And now he's come back. And for this last year, he's already dropped down to, he's 139 now. And he came to me at 180 in May. But the biggest thing, bro, is constantly talking to him about his mindset. Because
Mm,
if that doesn't shift and that doesn't change, no matter what he does with his training, it's just going to be this continuous cycle and perpetuated. And I have to say, that's one thing that really attracts me to the standard is like, you're not just giving people advice on how to lose weight or build muscle. It's a holistic attitude change.
mm,
It's how you
yeah.
approach your life, whether it's at the gym, whether it's your sport, whatever you do. Are you doing it with purpose? Are you doing it? Are you creating your standard? How important do you think that is as far as getting results, whether it's muscle gain or weight loss?
Well, for me, realistically, like you take that into every aspect of your life. Like I tell everyone, bro, like if you can commit your life to health and fitness, it will take you a lot further in life than any fucking qualification, any fucking uni degree.
A
Like if you
hundred
can
percent.
really dedicate your life
I'd
to
agree.
health and fitness and be in great shape, like it'll take you very fucking far in life.
I agree.
Like the
I agree.
opportunities, the people that you will meet, the opportunities that come your way, the rooms that you walk into, the respect that you now get from random people. Like, brother, I'm telling you now, like anyone that's in great shape, I'm telling you now, it is taking them a lot further in life than what they were when they were overweight.
100%. Because I think that because it takes hard work to get there. It
Mm.
takes hard work to be that.
And
You have
that's the
to.
one thing I tell everyone, like if you can commit to this phase with me, whether you're with me for 12 weeks or whether you're with me for 12 months, I'm telling you now, if you dedicate your life to this, it is going to change your whole entire life.
People often think if I look good, I'll feel good. But it's the
No,
other
no
way
way.
around. If you feel good, you'll always look good. Because if you
Yeah,
feel good, you're going to want to do more. And the more you
yeah,
do, the better you look.
yeah.
So we want to go back to men quickly and just touch on the fact that how men are weak. And this is, and I'll say this because my son, in my opinion, is more of a man than I ever was at 21, definitely, which means I've done my job good, well.
Yeah.
But there's still parts of myself that I can honestly say I feel like I'm a man in some circumstances, but in other circumstances, I still feel like a young man trying to learn to become a man.
Mm.
But I'm consciously aware of that and I'm trying to improve on that. And I'm 49 years old and my son's been doing that. What is it today? What would be one thing that you think if men could change that would actually create a better lifestyle for them from a mental perspective? Like, what would it be that they'd have to be accountable for that would make them wake up in the morning feeling better than they did the day before?
Like what can they do?
Yeah, what could they do? Like, if you had to give them one piece of advice for tomorrow morning to wake up feeling better than you did today, to feel more like a man.
Honestly, bro, I would say like a 30-minute walk in nature.
Fucking love it, dude. Tell me why.
Bro, I can't sit and say how many times I've been like woken up in an off mood, waking up feeling not depressed. It's very rare that I've been depressed. Don't get me wrong, but we all wake up some days where we just
Yeah,
like can't be fucked.
yeah.
But bro, I'm telling you right now, if I go down to the local Tenerife River walk, get my shirt off, and the sun is blazing, it's a nice breeze. Got my AirPods on with the music going or a podcast, bro. The thoughts that run through my head, it's I honestly feel invincible.
bro.
I don't know, and there's actually studies. Like one of my a coach that I follow actually put it. I can't remember exactly what it was done, but a walk in nature every morning boosts your mental health by a particular percentage every day.
Dude, 100%. So I'll be honest, bro. I wasn't expecting that answer. Genuinely wasn't, bro. I was like, go hit the punching bag, go hit the gym, because it's what we do as men, right? Like, fucking go hit something, bro. I completely agree because I think there's grounding, especially if you're walking on the beach or barefoot
Mm.
in the grass. There's the grounding aspect, there's the breeze, and for me, it's that transference of energetic energy. People are there's the fluffy duffy stuff. But for me, there's the frequency of the universe, of the sun hitting your skin, and that grounding, and like you just said, the thoughts that go through your head and tends to become more positive, more open, more hopeful, and you connect to that more, mate. a
Well,
hundred
bro,
percent.
I had the thought that I was leaving construction and going into coaching on that particular walk, that Tenerife walk. I know
There you go.
exactly where I was on this bridge that I said I text Rani and my wife and I said, I'm done. I said I'm giving myself to the end of January and I'm out of construction. I don't, and that time I didn't even know I was going to go into coaching, but I just knew that I could not continue in construction anymore.
It's those walks that then you talk to your higher self.
Mm.
It's the
And you know what the crazy thing
conversation of
is,
that.
my best mate was meant to meet me for this walk, and he cancelled. And at first, I was like, "Oh fuck it, I'll just stay at home and not go." But I was like, "No, you know what? You know, I always have good thoughts on that walk, so I'll just go and I'll still hit it myself." And man, yeah, honestly, I'll never forget messaging Rani, being like, I'm done. I cannot continue trying to be the man that I want to be, surrounded by the people on these job sites anymore."
Look, man, like your journey is actually like so highlighting the fact that the more time that you spent with yourself, even as uncomfortable it was in the beginning, the more you detach from those toxic thoughts, and the more you sat in stillness, the more you heard your purpose. And then the more conversations you had with your higher self, and the better that relationship came, the motivation and the consistency dropped in. And look what you've done in this short amount of time. And the one thing you did was just sit with your shit.
Yeah. And like I would even say, like I didn't even deal with my shit realistically. Like all my childhood stuff, I never dealt with it until recently. Like I actually got invited down to a rehab to take on the male clients coming out of this rehab as clients, and just give them that further assistance when once they leave the
Yeah,
rehab. I can be
yeah.
that extra support. And obviously, as we know, health and fitness changes lives. So if they can implement healthy lifestyle coming out of the rehab, it can, just be an even further assistance to their journey of sobriety. And I met my very good friend down there. She's part owner, and she goes, "Oh, here's the main owner. I'm going to leave you and have a chat with him." I said, "Okay, perfect." And he's full, like, it looks like a very much bigger version of you. Very big, muscly man, tatted up everywhere. He's an ex heroin addict, did jail, ex bikie enforcer, debt collector, like, real bad,
Shit.
ex bad man. And big mohawk, like, big on the juice, loves training, tatted up. And he's a pastor and owns
Yeah.
multiple rehabs all around Australia. And um, we started talking about addictions and why a lot of men can't leave the life of crime behind because that whole ego side.
Yeah.
And he started talking about stuff, and I was like, "Fuck, bro! Like you're fucking pulling on some heartstrings here, man." Like I was like, "Look, I don't struggle day to day with anything from my childhood, but like I know that I can be a better man. One,
Yep.
for my girls, and two, if I'm a better man, that means I can be better for my clients."
A hundred
So
percent.
like I said to him, I said, "Man, like I know you don't take on new clients anymore because he used to do counselling as well." I said, "Man, I know you don't do it anymore, but like, would there be any chance that I could, potentially get counselling from you?" And he was like, "Oh man, like I don't normally like to do it anymore because it consumes a lot of my time and I can't grow the business. But because you're a good friend of the other owners, you know what? I'll do it for you." And man, on my first session, he goes to me. He goes, because I grew up very religious. My mum was very very religious, and he said to me, he goes, "Man," he goes, "I can sense that you're seeking something." He goes, "Do you know what it is?" And I said, "Nah, not really." And he goes, "Do you want to come to church with me this Sunday?" And at first I was like, "Bro, are you fucking serious? No way.
Yeah.
No way." Not a chance, bro. Look at me. I'm not going to church. People look at me. I've got an ankle monitor on. People are going to laugh at me, bro. No way. Um, he said, yeah, okay, sweet, all good. Just thought I'd offer it. I just feel like, you're ready for something.
Yeah, you could see you were open to it. There was a
Yeah,
part of
and
you that was,
I went back to my mum and just let her know, and she was like, well, what do you got to lose? Like, you don't like it, don't go again. You went, at least you can say you tried it.
yeah,
And that was on the Monday. I went back to this bloke on the Monday and I said, hey, look, bro, I had a chat to my mum. I'm going to come with you this Sunday. And leading up to that Sunday, I was having a dream that I was crying in church, and like he was like patting me on the back, saying, "Brother, it's okay, it's all right." And man, it's pretty much exactly what happened. And the feeling that I had in that room at church, and like just being in the presence of positive, happy, God, like faith driven people, like it was just, bro. It's as weird as it might sound and corny as it might sound, but it's just like I've never felt so at peace in my life.
I understand that completely, bro. 100%. It's like this peacefulness knowing that it's all okay and it's all love and it's all real and it's all
Well, I
acceptable.
was yeah, we were having that chat last night because I go to church on Tuesdays and I do this course to get deeper into my faith and for new Christians. And yeah, we're all just saying the same, like, because I've been taking boys down with me every Sunday now. And, everyone was sort of joking that, I'm now this guy that starts bringing all the guys to church. But I was sort of joking that, as a criminal with an ankle monitor, like, I never thought I could walk through these doors and experience what I felt.
Mate, you see, and this is interesting. They did a study measuring people's energy and the frequency they give up. And they put them in this like box that measures their aura, I guess, but it's proper electrical currents. And they run the people through these emotions, anger, fear, etc. So obviously the highest waves was when people were experiencing love. That's when the waves were at the highest.
Yeah,
And obviously the distress, trauma created high waves, but not as strong as love.
yeah.
But there was something they did 300 times, I think it was percent more than love, is when they got the person to communicate and the person was found themselves being their authentic self. When they were their authentic self, it just skyrocketed.
Mm.
People relate to that authentism. It doesn't matter where it comes from, it's not judged, but being authentic is just something that we don't see anymore.
And you don't.
And
And like,
and
go
finding a
on.
place that allows you to feel that freedom to be authentic, man, I completely understand that. And why wouldn't you want other people to share
Yeah, and
that
it's just
experience
like
for themselves?
having that. No, I'm not sitting there saying you have to do this religion, have to do that religion. Like I'll never be that bloke, but like just having faith, having some
Uh,
form of faith, whether it's Islam, whatever people want to believe, but just having that higher faith, I truly believe is something that can take people very far in life as well.
No, I grew up very religious. My gran was Catholic, and she often used to say to me, have faith. You're going to swallow. You're going to be fine. You're going to be cured of the tumors. And she was a very devout Catholic. And even in Fatima in Portugal, they've got even those marches that they do on their hands and knees to the church so that God can help a sick loved one. But I turned to my gran and I said, Gran, my faith is in God.
Mm.
I'm not saying God directly did this to me, but God allowed this to happen to me. And I'm not, nowhere can I understand what God's will is. But if this is God's will, then so be it, because there's a lesson in it. I'm not looking for God to heal me, but I'm looking for God to show me enough belief in myself as He has in me.
But that's the thing, bro. Like, it's this is going to sound so weird, and every time I actually talk about this in church, and the people like look at me, they're like, okay, like, but like, I'm actually like, I'm gonna go back to jail, like in 2028, 2029. I'm still probably in my heart. I'm feel like 2 to 4 years to serve still, and
Fuck,
bro, I'm as weird as it might sound. But I'm excited. I'm not excited to
really?
be away from my family, but I'm excited, bro, to go in and try and touch as many boys' lives as possible and make an impact
Fuck,
on
bro.
so many fucking boys' lives and come out knowing that I touched as many boys' lives as possible in there. Because, bro, jail is sad. Like, the boys in there, they are just so far just empty. They,
Fuck,
they,
bro.
they love jail. They have no family. They're so drug orientated and their whole lives. Like the drug use in jail was like something I've never seen before in my life.
But bro, as I would never have guessed.
Bro,
You
and I
don't
couldn't
know,
believe it.
hey?
I didn't know. Like I've got so many mates who've been to jail, and no one once ever told me about the drugs. So when I walked in there, there's no gym for one, and I walk in and there's four guys putting one needle in each other's necks, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was on the phone to my mum, and they bro. So get this: out of 100 boys, they share the same two needles out of 88 boys that shoot up every day,
Jesus, bro.
and there was 12 of us that didn't use out of 100. And then when I went to the second jail of a unit of 28, I was the only one that didn't use. And they were
Mate,
wigging out on me, being like, "What, you've never used?" And I was like, "Nah, never." They're like, "Oh man, that's mad." And I'm like, "Bro, it's just normal where I come from. Like, I've never seen anyone shoot up anything before in my life. Besides steroids, obviously,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
but
never seen anyone shoot up heroin in my life." And these guys are just talking about it. "Oh yeah, driving, pulled over, had a shot. Oh yeah, with my missus, had a shot." And I'm like, "What?" And I'd ask these boys because there's a young guy, 22, looking at 10 years, shot this lady on accident. He was just like, and I said, "Bro, like, there's more to life than this. Like, outside of these walls, bro, like, life is better." And he
bro,
was
I
like,
have to.
he was like, "Nah, bro, like, this is mad. I get my 3 meals a day. I got my brothers. I got drugs. Got TV. Got a bed." I'm like, "What about your family?" "I haven't seen my mum in 10 years." And I'm like, "Fuck, man, like, it's very sad."
It
Very,
is,
very
bro,
sad.
and like I'm actually like looking at you in many ways, the dude. Like you'd almost say God's prepped you for this purpose, man. Like you look at it, and it just takes this very unique individual to have the life that you've led. To, I mean, those challenges gave you strength that you never knew you had.
Yeah, legit,
You
literally.
know, and now with that strength, you're putting yourself and you're going back to somewhere that requires more strength, but in order to help others. Bro, like without sounding cheesy or emotional, but that to me is a testament of what a real man is. You know, looking out for his brothers, but the right way. Dude, much respect, dude.
Thank you,
Like,
brother. Appreciate
yeah, for sure.
it.
Bro, I'm gonna end that off there before I get a little bit more teary, but I think that's what we need, man, is like real men that that go through it in order to help other men. And I think that the stronger we get, the better we'll be able to be for our partners and our wives and children and for the community as a whole, bro.
Well, yeah, like, unfortunately, I don't know how much time we've got left, but a lot of people don't understand, especially as, like, you would know, especially obviously doing a lot of studies now, but yourself, like, you would know the importance of a father
Bro, 100%.
and how we raise them as kids dictates most of their life.
100%.
And like a lot
Is
of men just take it so for granted and just think, "Oh yeah, I pay my wife's bills, I pay the rent, all good. I don't need to do nothing else."
oh mate, this the book the one Mr. Nice Guy actually talks about that. Like men and women are different and we both have equal value but different roles. But majority it's the man that prepares the child for the world. And when it comes to boys and girls, I mean, times have changed a lot, but I'm still one of those people. Like we have this argument all the time. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say all the time. But I was talking to my partner once, and I said to her, moving into our relationship. So when I look at her, I often call her my wife. She's not my wife. She feels like my wife because that's my commitment. That's how I feel when I'm connected with her. And I've grown more as a man because of her, because of how she's challenged me. She's made me more self aware. But then I said to her once, you know, I need you to submit to me. My woman has to submit to me. And she didn't like that. Obviously, no one likes the word submit. But I'm like, no, it's submit. But it's not that I make you submissive, is that you have to look at a man and you got to go, you know what? I submit to this man. I submit to his direction. I submit to the choices he's going to make. I submit control of our lives to him
Yeah, like
because I
pretty much just
trust where
like
he's going
I'm gonna trust and
and trust and
back him.
back him.
It's not like you said. It's not, but you know what? That's exactly what my wife is. Exactly the same.
You
And
know,
like a lot of
but this is the thing as a man. That is a gift a woman gives you because it's something that she can take away whenever you don't. But you know what? I'm taking back control. So you have to earn that right. And as a man, you have to become that man that a woman looks at you and goes, I trust you enough to submit to you. And when that happens, we in turn submit to their counsel because we have to make sure we know where we're going and then we're taking the family in the direction that they want to go. But we
Yeah, that's
need
I've
strong men
always
to
what
do
I've
that.
spoken about to guys. Like it's like yeah, that exact comment. A lot of men just expect. It's just like no, brother. That's you don't just expect a woman to bend over backwards for you and cook all your meal and do everything that you think that
No,
she's expected to do. You have to make her want to do that. And
yeah,
if you're fat, overweight, disgusting, don't take care of yourself, how the fuck do you expect any woman, good or bad, to do anything that you want her to do?
bro, spot on, 100%,
Like
a
it's
hundred
just
percent.
the male like yeah, I can sit and talk about males all day, bro, and how backwards they all are. But like now, these days, you get a strong, empowered woman, like people like our partners, bro, and a lot of men don't know how to handle them
Yep,
and crumble.
yep, yeah. And it becomes a toxic back and forth then.
Yeah, yep,
You
very
know,
much
because then
so.
each one trying to find control, and a woman can't make a man a better man. You know, like they can bring more out of goodness in a man, but a wife will never make the husband do or behave in a way that she thinks a good man should behave like.
Mm, it'll just make him want to behave better.
You just make you want to behave better. But I think it's a man that sets the requirements. It's a father that sets the standard for his son.
Mm. But
You
yeah,
know,
even
you
daughters,
need
like
to
the impact of a father that has on their daughter. Like
a
now going
hundred
through my own
percent.
counseling and self development and healing journey, like I'm now like, holy shit. Like, you know, for me growing up, I had so many sexual relationships when I was 14, 15 with women that were like 50, 55 plus.
Yeah.
And my counselor was like, what was the relationship like with your mum? And I said, my mum was the best. Like pretty much a single mum of 4 kids. And he's like, okay, but was she nurturing? And I was like, nah. He goes,
Mm.
that's why you seek that nurturing in all these other elderly women. And I was like, wow. Like the smallest thing, like my mum was just doing her best, bro. Like a single mum of pretty much 4 kids, trying to navigate around an abusive husband and a husband that worked away. Unfortunately, because you know she didn't have that nurturing side to her. That's
That's the product. And that's
yeah,
the biggest lesson, bro. My mom, as broken as she is, that's what she is. She's broken. And that doesn't mean I'm not broken. But when I look back, I just think I'm not even gonna judge her, judge me. As much as I thought I was ready to be a dad, the more I realize now how I knew fuck all. Like I wasn't even prepared. And the
yeah,
more I'm learning, the more I'm going, shit, no, there's so many people that we're not ready to have kids. We're all literally trying to do the best we can.
yeah.
But the thing is, we don't realize how much potential we actually have to be better.
Mm. And
And
that's
I
the
think
thing. Like
this is where the
a lot
standard
of people
steps in.
just a lot of people just what's the word? Just it's almost like they just give up on life. Like they just don't see any more for themselves.
Yep. And
Like
there's
it's
still
like
so
exactly like
much
that in
just under
jail,
the
bro. And I'm just
surface.
like, boys, like this is not fun. Like this is like don't get me wrong, jail was pretty fun. You're with a whole bunch of boys. If you can get a good group, you train together and it's good energy. But you know, jail's not nice.
No.
Like for any good man that will actually like you know their family means something to them. They want to make something of themselves. Jail's not nice. It's not a fun place. So like, and these boys just loved it. Absolutely loved jail.
And I think that's the sad part, bro, is when like I'm sitting here thinking like they've never been able to experience what I've had. Otherwise, I don't believe they would be happy in jail.
Nah, that's the thing. Yeah, they've never had, and like there's studies that show that men have to hit rock bottom to make it to want to make that change, to want to turn their life around. But to a lot of men, they don't understand what rock bottom is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
all these guys in jail, they've been in jail 10 plus times, and I'm like, I just look at that and I'm like, for me, that 3 month stint that I got done for was the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's what
Best
woke
thing
him
that
up.
ever happened to me
It's
because
what
it
woke
made
him
me
up.
realize that fuck, there is so much more to life.
Fuck, dude. Tell me, how can people get a hold of you? When anyone that's looking at changing their lives, creating the standard for themselves, how do they find you?
Instagram, brother, Trai Sean, Trai, I think SEAN underscore. Yeah, Trai Sean. Trey Wallace is the
Instagram's
standard.
the go-to place. Just DM you straight up on there,
Yeah,
and
I've
it's
got
the
the
standard.
jot form in the bio as well.
And then I know just hit up your TikTok for your reels as well because you put heaps of good content up there as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So we'll jump, bro. I know you got busy as I really love this chat. I think there's so much further we can go in here. So I think I'll
Yeah,
definitely have you back on if you
I think
find
we
the
could
time, bro.
talk for hours, bro.
Bro, it's like everything I had to like pull back a little bit because I'm going to go too far off in a tangent. But bro, much respect. The fuck the work you're doing, and just you're an example of what men should be working towards.
Thank you,
Like
brother. Appreciate it.
I think the one thing that stands about you, bro, we all make mistakes, and will make mistakes. But there's been a consistency to you and your effort that is definitely admirable, bro. And I think if most of us can kind of resonate and respond by doing the same thing, we'd get there.
Well, if there's one message that I want boys to take away from it is like, your past doesn't dictate anything.
No,
Just because for me myself, bro, if you go through my TikTok, fuck, I get grilled 24/7 about being an ex-crim, having an ankle monitor, or how can you tell men how to be good people when you have an ankle monitor? Like
oh fuck.
your past doesn't dictate who you are.
Dude, I always used, when people bring that type of shit up, I could argue that your past was the textbooks for your future.
100%, bro. I don't trust anyone that hasn't had that gone through
Right.
adversity.
It's the same thing. I always say to people, okay, back in the old days, you're in trouble. And you go two nuts. One guy shows up with fucking shiny armor, helmet, cape on, nice shiny sword, big shield. And then the other guy who shows up is fucking dented, scratched helmet, scuff marks. Who are you going to choose to protect you, bro?
Yeah, exactly
Okay?
right.
So that's the analogy, man. I mean, anyone who fucking puts that down,
I always say like adversity builds character, and you
100%.
have to go through life with adversity. Otherwise, you're just going to be soft.
100%, bro. Like this, if a chicken, if you crack the egg for the chicken, it will die. It needs
Hmm.
to crack the egg itself just so it can breathe.
Yeah, exactly right,
Period.
bro.
Thank you, bro. Much love. Thank you again, bro. We'll fucking definitely
Thank,
have you back on, man.
thank you, brother. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on. Do appreciate it.